Chapter 10. Return. Ponyville. By Celestia, it was definitely good to be home. Twilight had ended up spending the night in Canterlot, dropping by the old tower Princess Celestia had given her above the school. Twilight still owned the old place, though it had fallen somewhat into a dusty mess in her absence, but she had bigger fish to fry than a little bit of spring cleaning, and so she had departed again once the sun had risen. From there, she'd caught the first train back to Ponyville. The journey had been made in almost complete silence, the specter inside her head keeping to himself the entire time. Tala was thankful for that, at least. She didn't feel much like making conversation with the unicorn. But now, hopefully, she could find the mare she did very much want to talk to. First, though, she just had to figure out what exactly it was she was going to say. She walked through the town with bated breath, keeping her eyes peeled for any of her friends amongst the crowd. She had yet to spot any of them within the colorful ocean, and she started to slowly make her way towards the market. If none of them were there, then she'd probably have to try a house call. She could hit up Rarity's boutique, or maybe pop into Sugar Cube Corner. She could always fly over to Sweet Apple Acres, knock on Fluttershy's door, crash through Rainbow's window. Why was it suddenly so hard just choosing who to go to first? As the alicorn stepped into the market, none of her friends were immediately visible among the swath of shoppers going about their day. The stand for the Apple family was sadly vacant for the time being, and instead Twilight felt her eyes being drawn to the nearby rooftop of Sugar Cube Corner in all its fake delicious-looking dessert glory. If she was to go groveling to one of their homes, she might as well make it the closest. Carving a path slowly through the market, Twilight soon found herself free from the sea of bodies and making her way towards the colorful restaurant. Approaching the front entrance, she saw a young couple exit the building with their full, the child's mouth smothered in recently demolished treats. They gave Twilight little respectful nods as she passed them by, watching as the Princess of Equestria seemed to hesitate by the door, before taking in a deep breath and pushing her way inside. The interior of Sugar Cube Corner was decently busy, with ponies eating their meals at the various tables while a few others ogled their options at the counter, Mrs. Cake patiently waiting to take their orders. There was no sign of Pinkie Pie, though.
"Oh, Princess!"
Mrs. Cake greeted on sighting the alicorn.
"My Pinkie Pie was awfully worried about you. I do hope you're okay." "I'm fine, Mrs. Cake,"
Twilight assured the plump mare.
"Is Pinkie here? I kinda need to talk with her." "She's in the kitchen,"
she confirmed.
"Give me a second and then I can—" "Twilight!"
came a shout from the pink blur that shot through the kitchen door and barreled into Twilight at Mach 4.
Eee! I knew you'd be okay from whatever it was you needed to be okay from, but I was worried, but then I had this itchy knee and ruffly tail and I knew you were back and looking for me and... Yay! Hi, Pinkie!
Twilight patted the mare on the back, though was very self-conscious at being pinned to the floor beneath her friend's glump.
It's okay, so can I please get up? 2 seconds,
Pinkie replied, tightening her hug for precisely that amount of time before hopping up onto her hooves and offering to help Twilight up.
There we go.
Twilight accepted the helping hoof, brushing herself down and glancing at the ponies around them. They'd all only spared the odd, amused look at the sight, all quite accustomed to the antics of the party pony. That was fortunate.
"So, how'd it go?"
Pinkie asked.
"How'd what go?" "The super secret research project, of course."
Twilight rubbed the back of her head.
"That's...
Pinkie deflated a little.
Still a secret, huh? I'm sorry, Pinkie."
She scuffed the ground.
"Yeah, well..." "Pinkie,"
Twilight addressed.
"could you get the rest of the girls and meet me back here with them? Or maybe upstairs would be better. We need to talk."
She brightened, giving a quick salute.
"Okie dokie, Loki. Sergeant Diane Pie is on the case. And then we can have a big party to celebrate whatever it is you did." "No party,"
Twilight rebuffed.
Oh, but why not?
Twilight sighed.
I don't feel like it. It's not like I did anything worthy of a party. Not yet, anyway.
Pinkie huffed.
Well, okay. But it's only postponed, got it? Got it.
And with that, Pinkie gave a determined nod before rushing out from the restaurant to gather the others. Twilight, meanwhile, just let out another sigh before catching a glance from Mrs. Cake.
I do hope you won't be keeping my best chef from work for long,
She asked with a chuckle.
I'll try to make it brief,
She promised.
Can I wait upstairs? Of course, dear.
With Mrs. Cake's permission, Twilight offered her a quick word of thanks before making her way up to the next floor. From there, she ducked into Pinkie Pie's room and started waiting. She stood right in the middle, giving the room a look over as the time ticked by. She caught Gummy's eye at one point, just watching the small alligator lick its own eyeball, while otherwise remaining stagnant. What a curious reptile, Sombra suddenly stated, appearing before the creature who reacted in no way whatsoever, humming as he studied it. I can almost sense an unusual intelligence behind those vacant eyes.
I didn't know you had a sense of humor,
Twilight deadpanned. Who said I was joking? He asked, turning from Gummy and giving Twilight his focus. But let us discuss you, coming back here to grovel before your lessers. Why?
Because they're my friends,
Twilight retorted.
And they deserve an apology.
They got in your way and you cast them aside accordingly. You really should only surround yourself with followers at most. Friends are always such a waste.
So what was Radiant Hope to you then?
She shot, the king's expression darkening at her words.
I saw her in the book, remember? Who was it that captured the tyrant's heart?
I was the only one capturing hearts in that city, my granddaughter.
Of course you were,
Twilight replied doubtfully, turning from the apparition and starting to pace back and forth. You're still resisting the very inclination of your inner ambition, Sombra noted, rebelling against your birthright.
What ambition?
Twilight scoffed. He rolled his eyes. Do not deny it. You are proud to be considered the most gifted unicorn in Equestria, just as I can sense your pride in your newfound wings. You are a seeker of the magical arts and always strive to improve upon yourself. How is this any different?
Taking over Equestria never really equated into my studies,
She shot back. Then let us put that aside for the moment. The day is still young, Sombra decided. Instead, let us turn to what does currently interest you. My spells. Twilight didn't meet his gaze.
What are you talking about?
Magic. Pure and simple. The darkness is just one aspect of many, and it's one you have yet to even pierce, beyond that simple burst taught to you by Celestia.
I recall it hurting. A lot.
Only because you're not used to containing such raw strength, he rebutted. It is no different to learning anything else. It gets easier with practice.
It's evil!
Twilight shouted.
I would never use it if I didn't have to.
You used it when provided with that potion to see things that were, Sombra noted, smirking triumphantly as Twilight flinched. The zebra explained it would only work for alicorn magic. Any alicorn magic. You chose to default to the darkness. Why was that?
I don't really know,
Twilight admitted.
I guess I thought it would give the strongest reaction.
And you were right. You succeeded in your goal, and dark magic helped achieve it, the king pointed out, stopping Twilight in her tracks by stepping out in front of her. It may happen again. A puzzle the light cannot solve, a creature it cannot touch. One day, our knowledge may save the lives of those friends you hold so dear.
guess I can see the logic in that,
Twilight conceded, biting her lip in conflict.
At the end of the day, I suppose it's the how it's used, rather than the magic itself, that can be good or bad. And I am a little curious about how it all works. I tried asking the princess once, just after the Crystal Empire returned, but she wouldn't say anything else on the subject.
And now you know the reason. Yet another branch of her lie. Sombra sneered. Don't you see? Your potential is so much greater than any of those other alicorns, but Celestia would not allow any pony to surpass her own raw ability. But you must break her chains. Discover what you're truly capable of.
Just the spells,
Twilight decided, looking Sombra directly in the eyes.
Start from the bottom up. The theory, the practice, everything I can study and learn.
He grinned. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Good, because then we can also get to know each other a little better as well.
He frowned. Can we now?
Yes, she replied brightly. And I can show you all the friendship lessons you've been missing. I can teach you while you're teaching me. It's perfect.
He looked less than enthused. I see. I think you would find me a poor student on that topic, Twilight. But do as you must, so long as you learn between those wasted breaths.
They won't be wasted. You'll see.
No. You're the one that shall see. As it must always be. There was a click as the door opened, Sombra vanishing as his visage was replaced with that of 5 mares who all seemed, to some degree, to hold a sense of nervousness about them.
Hey, girls,
Twilight gingerly greeted as the door closed behind them.
I'm back. Are you okay?
Fluttershy was the first to ask.
Oh dear, you seem pale. It's been a hard time,
Twilight admitted, sitting down by the bed.
It's not exactly been fun.
I can tell, Rainbow Dash remarked, getting a frown from some of the others. You look awful, Twilight.
Pinky said you wanted to talk to us all?
Applejack asked, adjusting her hat downwards a little.
You were mighty agitated when we last talked, Sugar Cube. What's all this about? I just wanted to say...
Twilight sighed, fighting back a stray tear or two.
I'm sorry, girls. I'm sorry for how I acted.
They all glanced between one another.
Darling, none of us are really holding it against you. We're just concerned for your well-being,
Rarity pointed out.
And I trust things in Canterlot went at least somewhat smoothly? Not exactly,
Twilight admitted.
She still doesn't want to tell us the big secret,
Pinky recalled sadly. Figured, Applejack muttered.
Girls, please,
Twilight quietly replied.
It's personal. Family related, you know?
The apple farmer's eyes widened, and a little bit of guilt of her own crept onto her features.
Well, shucks, Twilight, why'd you only just now say so? An apple always knows how family can be. I'm sorry,
Twilight repeated.
Well, things aren't exactly better. I can't say why, but I just need to know you girls are here, you know? It helps, but I just...
They all looked between one another again, though seemed more resolute as they suddenly approached Twilight and surrounded her closely.
Don't sweat it. Of course we've got your back,
Rainbow Dash said.
So don't tell us. Whatever. We'll still be behind you the whole way, right, girls? Definitely,
Rarity agreed.
Just let me take care of that coat and mane. They do look to be in dire need of some care and attention. I haven't had time to manage my appearance,
Twilight sheepishly admitted.
It's been a bit hectic since I left. Well, you're home now.
Fluttershy said with a small smile.
And if you need some peace and quiet, you can always come around for some tea. I have this new mix-in from Central Arabia.
No, what she needs is a home-cooked meal, Applejack suggested. That's how an apple lifts spirits. Apple pie, apple crumble, apple sauce, you name it.
At a party!
Pinkie Pie stressed her point once again.
Later, Pinkie.
Twilight again rebuffed, getting a small whine from the pink mare.
Right now, I think I want to go back to the library. After taking Rarity up on her offer, maybe the spa? I could use some relaxation about now. What a wonderful idea!
Rarity agreed.
Why, I have the perfect treatment in mind. I shall pay. Don't you even worry about protesting. Why, the very idea of a princess being in such a state demands my contribution to rectify the issue. You can go ahead. I need to go back and feed Tank,
Rainbow stated.
But enjoy all that frilly stuff anyway. It'll probably help.
Sure you really don't want to join us, Rainbow? Applejack asked with a jab at the Pegasus. She blushed.
No, why would I ever want to be in a place like that? Stupid relaxing spas. I can go. The animal's already taken care of for the next few hours,
Fluttershy said.
I need to get back to work. Treats won't make themselves.
Pinkie noted.
Unless they're self-baking treats, but it's way better if I'm the one making them.
Well, that just leaves me then, Applejack stated. Shoot, guess I'll tag along. I suppose a steam bath might take a load off the old shoulders.
Then it's decided. We must not delay,
Rarity declared, lighting up her horn and proceeding to drag the others along and out the door. Twilight happily went along with her friends, feeling untold relief at their quick reconciliation. And with what was on the horizon, she would cherish every single moment of the spa day Rarity was now physically dragging them to. Every moment spent with them would be a treasure, yet also added to the weight of what Sombra had said about protecting them. And he knew this. Watching on from within her subconscious. As much as he felt dismay at her lax attitude towards those other ponies, he knew this was not to be a quick process. But he had started to bring her into his form of sense already, whether she realized it or not. The first step had already been taken, her willingness to learn, and with his guidance, well, it was a victory. His distant granddaughter was, from that point onwards, his student. One he would teach all he had, morphing that deliciously brilliant mind into one worthy of both itself and their bloodline. Piece by piece, spell by spell, he would surely start to unleash the midnight within.